Hello everyone, my name is Vanessa and the name of my channel is called Gnostic Knowledge. And what I am doing on this channel is simply reading from a book. And the name of that book is called Letters and Numbers, written by Zachry Hubbard. You can get a copy of this of this book yourself by visiting Zachry Hubbard's YouTube channels. And he has two. Gematria affect news or Gematria affect sports. And in the description of each of the videos that he produces, he leaves a link for you to purchase the book Letters and Numbers. The book costs $5. It will come to you via email as a PDF file. This book is a phenomenal book. This book is a must read for everyone in the world. If you can speak English, you need to purchase this book and you need to read it and you need to understand what the information is. The book is about Gematria. Gematria is the encoding of numbers within our letters and words. Every word we speak has a numerical value. And when you know the code, you'll see exactly how it works, and that's exactly what this book will do. It will show you, it spoon feeds you what Gematria is. And I am so glad to know this information. And I encourage you to get the books, this book. He also has another book that I'll talk to you about in just a minute. But get this book, understand this information, and stop guessing and stop thinking that this stuff is, well, I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but everybody I've told this information to, maybe 1 out of 20 people will consider it or take it seriously. People think that this is not what's going on, and there's nothing else taking place that has a direct effect on the masses of people all over the world except Gematria. That is what it is, and it can be stopped if enough people just wake up and read the information and see what's exactly that's going on. This is not something you have to believe in. This is something you can prove 1,000,000%. So anyway, the book Letters and Numbers will come to you via email as a PDF file once you purchase the book. Be sure to save the file to your hard drive of your phone, your laptop, your tablet, your computer, whichever device you're going to use to access the book later for reading. Zachry Hubbard left the copyright off this book so that you could take it to your local bindery and have it bound into a book for your own personal library. You can also upload it to lulu.com and they will bind it into a book for you and mail it back to you as well for a fee, in each instance. And but the prices, from what I understand, are very reasonable. You can also print the book out and put hole punch the pages and put it in a notebook for create your own book. But at any rate, get the book, get the information, learn the information. Zachry Hubbard also wrote a second book, and that book is in paperback, and it is called Number Games. It is a continuation of his first book, Letters and Numbers, and this one is entitled Number Games from 9/11 to Coronavirus. Absolutely. And this is, if you can see, but that's the young man that wrote the book, Zachry Hubbard. And this book is available on Amazon right now, and it's on the bestseller list as a pre-order book. You can pre-order this book on Amazon, and it is going to be released on October 13th. October 13th, yes. But this particular book that I have right now, this copy, I pre-ordered this book weeks ago, and I got my copy from Zach a little over a week ago. So if you don't want to order from Amazon, you can visit Zachry Hubbard's blog page, gematriaaffectnews.blogspot.com. And the first thing you'll see is the advertising for the book Number Games. And as you scroll down, it will show you the information on how to purchase the book within the United States and abroad. Be sure to read the blogs on the blog page as well. He has a lot of content there, and he has a previous blog page called freetofindtruth.blogspot.com, where he had been blogging for over 5 years on that particular page before he created his newest one. And there, I believe he has over 30,000 posts there. So be sure to go and familiarize yourself with what Gematria is, how it works, how it affects our lives, how it affects every human being on this planet. That's about all I'm going to say about that. Is there something else? Yeah, there is something else. If you become a Patreon of Zachary K. Hubbard for $1 a month, the lowest tier on his Patreon, you can get both of these books via email, PDF file format, and you have both books for $1 a month. And literally, this book is priceless. The information in this book you will not get anywhere else in the world. And he has made this information available to the public. And he's keeping the price right now, $5 for the first book, because he wants everyone to have the book. And I believe everyone should have this book. Teach it to your children. Try to share it with your friends, to the ones who have eyes to see and ears to hear. Who doesn't want to be led around by the nose anymore. And I know that's not something I ever want to do again. God gives us, the Most High, He gives us a mind. He gives us a brain. We know how to think. And once you come out of the spell of being lied to, once you really start understanding what the truth is, you don't want to go back there anymore. But anyway, like I said, I'm not here to tell you what to believe in, and this isn't something you have to believe in. This is something you can prove. So I encourage you, please get the books, Number Games and Letters and Numbers. So I am going to continue with the reading of chapter 20. And chapter 20 is entitled Murder by Numbers, the Gematria Killing Code. And I will begin with the next murder by Numbers on page 554. And without further ado, we're going to begin with the murder of Kitty, Kitty, Genovese, and she died she was born March 13th, 1964. Well, it doesn't say what her birthday is, so let's scratch that. She was murdered on March 13th, 1964. Okay. And I'm going to read the headline that it says here. Kitty Genovese murder. The real story of the woman killed in front of 38 witnesses in Queens in 1964. The 1964 murder of Kitty Genovese, and her last name is spelled Genovese. Okay? The 1964 murder of Kitty Genovese, and how no one came to her aid, became an American legend, but everyone got the story wrong, says Stephanie Mary. And Stephanie Mary, this story was written Monday, July 4th, 2016. Okay, let's see what... Oh, and it had been shared 113 times, and that's some BS. So here we go. It became a national news story that a woman in New York City, Kitty Genovese, was stabbed to death in front of 38 witnesses per the New York Times, but not a single one called the authorities. It began a national conversation about how to make it easier for people to contact authorities in an emergency situation. And out of the national conversation, 911 was born 4 years later in 1968. When the New York Times was asked where the number of 38 witnesses came from, they balked at the response. So I'll provide it for you. Going beyond what we already know about the number, keep in mind it is said that Kitty Genovese was who was 28 years old, was killed in Kew Gardens neighborhood, pairing nicely with her own KG initials. In addition to the 38s we're about to decode, Kew Garden also has ordinal gematria of 107 107, the 28th prime number, and reduction gematria of 44 connecting to Kew. So, the name Genovese equates to 38 in reduction. Stabbing equates to 38 in reduction, S counted as 10. Kew Gardens equates to 163, reverse ordinal, 163, the 38th prime number. Let us not forget that the media is a Zionist operation controlled by the false Jews who want to mock people with the code but not let them know how it operates, which is why the New York Times balked at an answer for where the number of 38 witnesses came from. Keep in mind the words Jew, Jewish, Masonic, and Kabbalah all have gematria of 38. Willie the Wisp Gailmore, Gailmore, March 30th, 1935 to July 27, 1964. Willie Gailmore was the star running back of the Chicago Bears, a team fresh off winning the NFL championship on December 29, 1963, concluding the NFL's 44th season. Not by coincidence, his death, blamed on a traffic collision, would come 211 days after the championship and precisely 47 days before the start of the 1964 NFL season, which was September 12th. As you have learned, the number 211 is the 47th prime. In this case, his place of death was Indiana, having a reverse reduction gematria of 47, the number of extreme importance to Freemasonry. In that breath, let us not forget the word Mason has a Jewish gematria of 211, pairing nicely with the 47 degrees on the compasses of the Freemason logo and the fact that Freemasonry is responsible for the creation of American football. Speaking of football, it has a reduction gematria of 29, matching his age of death, which came 119 days after his birthday, making his passing specific to Chicago. He died on the day leaving 157 days left in the year, which is the 37th prime number. In reduction gematria, Chicago equates to 37, as does his nickname, the Wisp. W-I-S-P. Ahead, we will cover the death of NFL football player Edwin Jackson, a name summing to 47 in reduction, who died 47 days after his birthday in a traffic accident in Indiana. In the case of Jackson, he died the day of Super Bowl 52, where the first Super Bowl was played in the 47th season of the NFL and not arbitrarily. Foundation. The word foundation equates to 47 in reduction. Excuse me. The word kill equates to 44 in ordinal. Kill equates to 64 reverse ordinal. Car crash equates to 44 in reduction. S counted as 10. Sam Cooke, January 22nd, 1931 to December 11, 1964. Sam, a name having ordinal gematria of 33, was murdered at age 33 in what the courts determined to be a justifiable homicide because reportedly he was trying to rape a white woman. Reportedly, okay? I guarantee This story is 100% false, and what really happened was a ritual murder. For starters, he was killed 42 days before his 34th birthday, and we know about the number 42 in Black history. Second, where he died, the Hacienda Motel has murder written all over it, summing to 79, just like murder. Third, his name Sam Cooke has gematria of 28 and 44, both connecting to the word kill. Consider he died in Los Angeles, home of the 213 area code. Also noteworthy, the woman who reportedly took his life, Bertha Franklin, had reduction gematria of 67, corresponding with the word killer, as well as gematria of 86, where blood sacrifice has gematria of 67 and 86. It truly is sick to think about, Truth Seeker, a man with amazing talent, murdered, and then adding insult to injury, being accused of trying to rape someone. The synagogue of Satan will pay dearly, and these patterns will end, which persist to this day in 2020. My goodness. Otis Redding, September 9th, 1941 to December 10th, 1967. Otis Redding would die on his 93rd day of being 26 years old. Both numbers that correspond with the gematria of Saturn, having to do with death and judgment. His cause of death was a plane crash, having gematria of 83, same as Otis Redding, and connecting to murder. As for the state he crashed in, it was Wisconsin, where Stevie Ray Vaughan would later die in history in a helicopter crash, August 27, 1990. Of course, Wisconsin sums to 44, similar to kill. Also important, the date he died had numerology of 27, connecting to ritual. Don't overlook, this took place in the year 67. Wow. And blood sacrifice equates to 67 as well. Okay, Judy Garland, June 10th, 1922 to June 22nd, 1969. Judy Garland, who is remembered for starring in The Wizard of Oz, would die on her 13th day of being 47 years old. After her death, it was blamed on drug addiction and alcohol abuse. It is interesting to note that in The Wizard of Oz, she passes out in a poppy field, which are known for being made into heroin, summing to 69 like the year of her passing, a popular drug for the 60s. As for Poppy, it has gematria of 47, like the age of her death. With regards to dying on the 13th day of her age, Oz has gematria of 13 as well as 41, where the number 41 is the 13th prime number. Adding to the coding of 13 was the book 13, the book was released May 17, 1900, a date with numerology of 41, and the film released August 25th, 1939, a date with numerology of 91, the 13th triangular number. For yet another, the author of the story was L. Frank Baum, B-A-U-M, summing to 99 in ordinal gematria, and that is L. Frank Baum, summing to 99 in ordinal gematria, just the same as 13 written as a word. And most important of all, the name Judy Garland sums to 45 and 17, same as 13. Thus it is clear her death was a ritual murder in tribute to the film she starred in. For one last curiosity, the date June 22nd can be expressed as 226, much like 226. Recall that number has a relationship with 93, which also connects to the gematria of heroin. At the same time, Saturn also shares gematria of 69 and 93, and the word planet equates to 226. 13 is the sixth prime number. All right, the sixth. Okay, 13 is the sixth prime number. Saturn is the sixth planet. And I'm going to change glasses here. See if these work a little better. A lot better, I believe. Okay, Brian Jones, February 28, 1942 to July 3rd, 1969. Brian Jones was the founder of the Rolling Stones, a band name summing to 73 in reverse reduction, a number corresponding with the ordinal value of sacrifice. Fittingly, he would be found dead July 3rd or 7/3 at age 27 in the bottom of his swimming pool. Many people suspected he was murdered, but his death was ruled an accident and blamed on potential drug and alcohol abuse. Consider the numerology of his date of death equated to 79. 7 plus 3 plus 69 equates to 79, corresponding with the ordinal value of murder. Fred Hampton, August 30th, 1948 to December 4th, 1969. Okay. Fred Hampton was the young Black Panther Party leader in Chicago, Illinois, who was killed in his home on his 97th day of being 21 years old. In addition to the number 27 connecting to death, it also connects to the gematria of Black Panther Party. Even more, Black Panther has gematria of 213, corresponding with Black History Month as well as death. As for his date of passing, it was the day that leaves 27 days left in the year, the ritual number. An important point about him dying at age 21 is that Fred equates to 21, which when written out as a word, 21 sums to 42. As for the name Hampton, it has gematria of 102, corresponding with the Sumerian gematria of FBI, who was blamed for his killing. At the same time, please do not forget how the numbers 42 and 102 have been coded on Black history. Speaking of which, the rapper Jay-Z was born on the same date Fred Hampton was killed, having the last name Carter, which sums to 97. As you'll learn, his success came on the back of the death of Notorious B.I.G. in 97. Jimi Hendrix, November 27th, 1942 till September 18th, 1970. Jimi Hendrix, born James Marshall Hendrix, would die 70 days before his 28th birthday in the year 70, corresponding with the septenary gematria of his birth name, summing to 70. He would die in London, having gematria of 74 and 88. With regards to the number 88, his birth name had reduction gematria of 88, corresponding with the words poison and arsenic poisoning. Man, it was stated his cause of death was an overdose, having ordinal gematria of 103, which is the 27th prime number, matching his age of passing, one of the most well-remembered members of the 27 Club. In reverse ordinal, overdose sums to 113, similar to dishonest and the long list of 113 words, all having to do with mainstream deception. Also worth mentioning, the name Jimmy, Jimi, has reverse ordinal gematria of 67 connecting to blood sacrifice. And equally as interesting, his artist name NALW Kabbalah connects to his date of death, September 18th, which can be expressed as 18/9, similar to 189 connecting to Freemasonic, and the list of words connecting to reincarnation. So, Jimi Hendrix, Jimihendrix, his name equates to 189 in ALW Kabbalah. The date 11/27/1942. When you add it together, you get 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 7 plus 1 plus 9 plus 4 plus 2. That equates to 27. Jimmy had a birth numerology, of 27, and he died at the age of 27. It's crazy how, man. Anyway, Janis Joplin, January 19th, 1943. October 4th, 1970. Okay. Jimmy would die on the day leaving 104 days left in the year, and Janis would die on October 4th, also at age 27, also from an overdose. There was a 10-4 message received riddle going on, no doubt, coming 16 days apart, or a span of 17. Recall, if you write out 16 as a word, it has reduction gematria of 33, which is the same as rock star. Consider Jimmy died in England and Janis died in Hollywood, locations both having gematria of 33. At the same time, the word arsenic shares gematria of 33 and is the 33rd element on the periodic table. As for the number 17, it connects to Keel and Mason, as you have learned. Adding to the overlap between the two deaths, Janis died on the day leaving 88 days left in the year. In both the deaths of Janis and Jimmy, heroin was blamed. If you ask me, these ritual murders were a way of telling the fans of rock and roll the 60s were over. As we decode, keep in mind, Saturn and heroin both share gematria of 69 and 33. Jimi Hendrix equates to 69 in reduction. Janis Joplin equates to 69 reverse reduction. Heroin equates to 69 in ordinal. Heroin equates to 93 in reverse ordinal. Janis also died 107 days before her 28th birthday, where 107 is the 28th prime number. She was also born on a date with numerology of 28. So her birthday, January 19th, 1943. You would add 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 4 plus 3. That equates to 28. The word kill has reverse reduction gematria of 28. Jim Morrison, December 8th, 1943 to July 3rd, 1971. Jim Morrison was born on a date that would later prove fateful for musicians such as John Lennon and Dimebag Darrell, a date breaking down to 38 or 83 in numerology terms. numbers both corresponding to murder. As for his own death, it too was blamed on heroin, with his life coming to a premature end at age 27 in a bathtub in Paris. You should know bathtub has gematria of 74, same as killing, and it would be a location that would later prove fateful for Whitney Houston and her daughter. As for Paris, it has ordinal gematria of 63, matching the reduction gematria for Jim Morrison. Paris also has reduction gematria of 27, matching his age of passing, which came 207 days after his 27th birthday. Consider that his death came on the same day as his father's retirement from the U.S. Navy. What are the odds? His death was also precisely 158 days before his upcoming 28th birthday, where he too had birth numerology of 28 like Janice. In his case, he also died on a date with numerology of 28. As for the number 158, you'll recall Freemasonry shares gematria of 158, and Scottish Rite shares gematria of 159. I bring up 159 because it was a span of 159 days from his 28th birthday as well, and Paris, France is a Scottish Rite stronghold. Also important, the date July 3rd can be written as 7-3, similar to 73, and sacrifice has ordinal gematria of 73. At the same time, the date can be expressed as 3/7, similar to 37, and Jim Morrison equates to 37 in septenary and Chaldean. As for his passing in 71, the word 71 has gematria of 144, and so does the name Jim Morrison in reverse ordinal. Killer. Wow. December 8th, written as words, equates to 158 LCH Kabbalah. His girlfriend, who found him the day of his death, would reportedly die of a heroin overdose April 25th, 1974, emphasis on 74. April 25th is also the 115th day of the year, corresponding with the word killing, in reverse ordinal gematria and Jewish gematria. Of course, Freemasons and Masonic also share gematria of 115. Nick Drake, June 19th, 1948 till November 25th, 1974. Nick Drake, born Nicholas Rodney Drake, a name summing to 93 in reduction, would die in 74. Okay, consider what you have learned about those numbers in light of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Even more, he would die at age 26, the number symbolizing God, and extremely important to Christianity, as we have learned about. Further, he would die 159 days after his birthday, the number connecting to New Testament, resurrection, and Scottish Rite. His death, which was a murder, was blamed on a drug overdose. Of course, he also died on the 25th, connecting to death. Haile Selassie, July 23rd, 1892 to August 27th, 1975. Okay. Haile Selassie of the Solomonic dynasty was seen as God incarnate, a living Jesus Christ. Yeah, right. By the Rastafari movement until his death. that was the result of a coup d'etat in Ethiopia, a nation where he had been emperor from 1930 until 1974. What's fascinating is that he died at age 83, corresponding with the Gematria of Haile Selassie and Solomonic dynasty, both summing to 83 in reverse reduction, same as Jesus Christ in reverse reduction, when H is counted for 10. Even more, Ethiopia sums to 83 in ordinal, similar to how murder sums to 83 in reverse ordinal. Adding to the riddle of his death was the date he passed, August 27th, the 239th day of the year, which is the 52nd prime number. This matters because Haile Selassie sums to 52 in reduction, same as Ethiopia, in reverse reduction when H is counted for 10. And even further, Jamaica, where the Rastafaris worship him, sums to 52 in reverse reduction. Fitting the riddle, his date of passing had numerology of 39. 8/27/1975, you would add 8 plus 2 plus 7 plus 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 5 equates to 39. And the word Rastafari has reduction gematria of 39, same as Bob Marley, who we will discuss the death of ahead, same as Peter Tosh and Jacob Miller. Also noteworthy is that Solomonic dynasty has ordinal gematria of what? 223, corresponding with the synagogue of Satan. These bastards. My word. An organization that is heavily connected to this murder code, the synagogue of Satan. So, Solomonic dynasty equates to 223 in ordinal. All right, Paul Kossoff, September 14th, 1950 to March 19th, 1976. In the year 76, the man who played one of the most popular guitar riffs of all time would supposedly die on the most Masonic of dates for killing, supposedly from complications due to drug addiction. That is because in Satanic Gematria, Masonic and killing share a value of 319, a number Prince once sang about and would die 319 days after his own birthday. The official cause of death for Kossoff was a pulmonary embolism having ordinal and LCH Kabbalah gematria of 223. In addition, the term also has reduction gematria of 79, corresponding with murder. There's these numbers over and over and over and over again in every one of these murders. Wow, adding to the numerical riddles, his date of death came 187 days after his 25th birthday, the number connecting to homicide. Consider he was a member of the band Free, having reverse ordinal gematria of 74, making them ripe for killing. On his tombstone, the words are written all right now, the song the band was most remembered for, and a song that has been rocking on the radio stations from the time of his death up to the present, and it absolutely is. It's all right now, baby, it's all right now. Yeah, I remember that song. I can't sing, but yeah, I know that song, and he does play. That guitar riff is awesome, though. I mean, it's amazing, but it's crazy. The words all right now are a perfect match with Freemasonry in all 4 of the bass ciphers. As for that song having one of the most remembered guitar riffs of all time, it should be noted that guitar has Gematria of 76, same as his full name, Paul Francis Kossoff, and Kossoff is spelled Kossoff. Man, Elvis Presley. Come on, Elvis. Elvis Presley, January 8th, 1935 to August 16th. Boy, there's a lot of August death. August 16th, 1977. Elvis Presley, who was known for making black music, would die at age 42. On the 228th day of the year. And I'm not in any way laughing at Elvis Presley's death. That's not it. It's just 42. Black music, and now he's dead at 42. I'm not making fun of any of these people's deaths unless these wicked bastards that, like Aleister Crowley and all them bastards, yeah. And hey, my own personal opinions I keep to myself, but my God, I'm going to start over. Elvis Presley, who was known for making black music, would die at age 42 on the 228th day of the year, where death equates to 228 in Sumerian Gematria. So he died on the 228th day of the year. Death equates to 228 in Sumerian Gematria. As we learned, this was the same date in history that the young black 27-year-old musician Robert Johnson died. Okay? Consider further. Elvis Presley is a name with reduction gematria of 59, connecting to the word Negro, as well as kill. He would die at his home in Graceland in Memphis, both being locations with gematria of 38, reminding how Robert Johnson passed in the year 38. Consider further. August 16th is the day, leaving 137 days left in the year, and Tennessee has reversed ordinal gematria of 137. As for the cause of death, heart attack, it has reversed ordinal gematria of 189, connecting to Freemasonic and more. So the word Graceland equates to 38 in reduction, Memphis 38 in reduction, and the King equates to 38 in reduction. Leonard Skinner plane crash, October 20th, 1977. Wow. Leonard Skinner's plane would crash on a date with numerology of 107 in a city with gematria of 107, that being Gillsburg, Mississippi, summing to 107 in ordinal gematria. These details matter because ritual sacrifice equates to 107 in reverse reduction. At the same time, ritual sacrifice has reduction gematria of 73, similar to how sacrifice alone sums to 73 in ordinal. I bring this up because Leonard Skinner released their first album in the year 1973, emphasis on 73, on August 13th. From the date of the debut album to their deaths was 218 weeks and 3 days. As covered, death sums to 218 using the English extended cipher. Further, they died on the 293rd day of the year, which is the 62nd prime number. In reverse reduction, sacrifice also sums to 62. Finally, they died on a date with numerology of 27. They died on a date with numerology of 27, connecting to the gematria of ritual. Worth mentioning is the lead singer born Ronald Wayne Van Zant, had named Gematria summing to 77 in the reduction method, matching his year of passing. So, his name, Ronald Wayne Van Zant, equates to 77 in reduction. All right, just like he said. Pope John Paul I, the 33-day Pope, October 17th, 1912 to September 28, 1978. Like one of the deaths of the popes, I could care less. They all should be gone as far as I'm concerned. Pope John Paul I would go to sleep on September 27th, the Jesuit order's date of foundation, and he would be found dead the next morning in his bed, September 28th, on a date with numerology of 44, the Kiel number, and where the divisors of 44 sum to 84, corresponding with the ordinal gematria of Jesuit. Regarding the number 44, the title Pope John Paul I has reverse ordinal gematria of 193, the 44th prime number. Further connecting the Pope to the Jesuit order, a society with a history of murder by the numbers, is the fact that his title, Pope John Paul I, has ordinal gematria of 158, and the Jesuits were first formed on August 15, 1534, or 15/8, like 158, before being officially formed and recognized by the Church September 27, 1540. In light of the Jesuits being the Masons within the Church, do not forget that Freemasonry also shares reverse ordinal gematria of 158. At the same time, Pope John Paul I and Freemasonry each have gematria of 58 as well, tying in with the Catholic Church, summing to 58 in septenary. As for his age of passing, 65, that corresponds with the gematria of Christianity and Knights Templar in reduction. Recall the history of the Knights Templar and the Catholic Church. It also connects to the gematria of Pope John Paul I in Chaldean. It was immediately suspected that he'd been killed with arsenic for pledging to clean up the corruption with the Vatican Bank and its ties to the mafia, but the Catholic Church never performed an autopsy to confirm the suspicions because it was against Vatican law. Oh, what a shame to do so to the Pope. Okay. Also important is that he had just become Pope 33 days earlier, August 26, 1978, and arsenic has gematria of 33 and is the 33rd element on the periodic table, an element that has been used to kill people for eons. For more 33, his birth surname Luciani equates to 33 in reduction gematria. Think about Jesus on the cross at age 33, or the Catholic Church, the CC, the 33, and the Society of Jesus. Wow. Here we go. Donny Hathaway, October 1st, 1945 to January 13th, 1979. Donny Hathaway was a professional recording artist who had not been in the studio for a number of years until returning January 13, 1979. It was reported on that day he had a mental breakdown, and the recording recording session was cut short due to him accusing white people of trying to kill him. The breakdown was attributed to his diagnosed paranoid schizophrenia, which had prematurely ended his recording career in 1973. Consider the term paranoid schizophrenia has reverse reduction gematria of 113, similar to January 13th or 1/13, the date of the breakdown and his death. Even further, the term schizophrenia has reduction gematria of 79, like the year of the incident of his death. Later that same day, Mr. Hathaway would be found dead at the age of 33, corresponding with the reduction gematria of his surname. The story was he jumped from the 15th floor of his apartment building, committing suicide. As you know, 15, written as a word, has reduction gematria of 38, corresponding with death, murder, and killing. Keep in mind, the date he died had numerology of 93. 1 plus 13 plus 79 equates to 93. The number of Saturn, connected to time, death, and judgment. As you learned earlier, time has an ordinal value of 47, and 47 is the 15th prime number. At the same time, suicide has reverse reduction gematria of 47. In other words, it is clear to see he was murdered, and likely for telling the truth. It is tragic to think that not only was he murdered, his death was blamed on a false cause and likely a false diagnosis. Over the years, many truth speakers have been labeled schizophrenic and paranoid. Wow. Okay, Jacob Miller, May 4th, 1952 to March 23rd, 1980. Jacob Miller, the reggae musician, would die in a car crash at age 27, joining the club. His death came on the 83rd day of the year, the number corresponding with murder. It also came 42 days before his birthday, or a span of 43 days. You know the history of black men and 42. At the same time, reggae has an ordinal value of 43, a number connecting to Masonic and killing. Fateful for Jacob Miller was the fact that his name had reduction gematria of 46, the same as sacrifice. As you will learn ahead, Peter Tosh, reggae musician, died at age 42, 38 days shy of his 43rd birthday, having clear parallels to the details in Jacob Miller's passing. Also worth mentioning is that Jacob Miller's death came 414 days before Bob Marley's, corresponding with the reverse Sumerian gematria of Saturn, as we'll get to. Bob Marley's death had much to do with Saturn, as did Peter Tosh's. Consider in ordinal gematria, Rastafari, Bob Marley, and Saturn all sum to 93. And let us not forget, Saturn has reverse reduction gematria of 42 as well, connecting to the deaths of Jacob Miller and Peter Tosh, as mentioned, and also Bob Marley, who passed on May 11th, 1981, or 5/11, not unlike 511, corresponding with the Jewish gematria of Saturn. As we progress, you will come to see just how wicked of a web it is between the three men's deaths that were clearly all premeditated murder. John Lennon, October 9th, 1940 to December 8th, 1980. As John Lennon was returning to his Manhattan apartment with his wife Yoko Ono, 25-year-old assassin Mark David Chapman would gun him down with a .38 caliber handgun. The name of the assassin equates to 67 in reduction gematria, right for a killer. Making matters even more interesting, he was on his 213th day of being 25 years old, having a May 10th, 1955 birthday. As you learned earlier, shooting and death share a gematria of 213. As for John, he was on his 61st day of being 40 years old. 61st day of being 40 years old. And as we have learned, the names John and Time share a gematria of 61. Thus, it was a fitting time for him to go. His wife, Yoko Ono, was 47 years old at the time, also connecting to John and Time. Making matters even more interesting, her name sums to 38 in reduction gematria, similar to the date he died on, 12/8, which breaks down in numerology terms to terms of 38 or 83. It's crazy. As for his day of passing, it was one with numerology of 119, the number of the all-seeing eye, and a number that is especially curious, seeing as how he was killed in Manhattan. There appeared to be a riddle with the Beatles as well in light of the timing of his death. See the math as follows. So the date 12/8/1980, you would add 12 plus 8 plus 19 plus 80, that equated to 119. All-seeing eye equates to 119 in ordinal. Master plan equates to 119 in ordinal. The Beatles equates to 119 reverse reduction. H counted as 10 and E counted as 22. So, in the headline it says here, Holy Grail of Beatles Records sells for 110K. Okay. There's a lot more to this death and the other deaths of Beatles members which I could write a book about, and which I encourage you to investigate if you care, now that you have the knowledge and know-how. Okay? For now, I'll leave you with this headline from March 22nd, 2016, 223, on the 53rd year anniversary of the release of the first Beatles album, Please Please Me. So, Beatles equates to 223 in Jewish gematria. Holy Grail equates to 53 in reduction. Wow. 223. Okay. Bob Marley, February 6, 1945 to May 11th, 1981. Bob Marley would die on his 95th day of being 36 years old. In light of this, please recall that Son of God has gematria of 95, and Jesus Christ has gematria of 151, the 36th prime. In light of Bob Marley being from Jamaica, please note that the island also shares gematria of 151. Adding to the spiritual riddle, the name Bob Marley equates to 93, corresponding with God's Son, Nazareth, and crucifix. At the same time, the word Rastafari, which he was, equals 93 as well. As you have learned, the word Saturn shares gematria of 93 and 511. And notice the date of his passing, May 11th, which can be expressed as 511 or 11/5, which the latter date expression connecting to killing. Even more, the name Marley alone totals 74, the same as Jesus, cross, gospel, Messiah, and killing. Consider Marley's solo career began in 1974, where Bob, Psalms 219, and Marley, Psalms 274, both in ordinal. That was when he broke off from the Wailers, Wailers, having gematria of 33 and 42. As for his cause of death, it was melanoma, having ordinal gematria of 74 as well. At the same time, let us not forget that cancer, chemo, and kill all share gematria of 44, and cancer also has gematria of 118, further connecting to death. For another parallel to killing, Rasta has gematria of 59, reminding that Jesus Christ, Psalms 259 in septenary, and Bob Marley equates to 590 in Jewish gematria. And of course, you would ignore the 0, that is 59, okay? Adding to the same spiritual riddles, you'll notice Bob Marley was born February 6th, and he died on a date with numerology of 26, the number connecting to God. Above all, this was Marley's message: to never stop believing or fighting for what is right in the name of God, understanding that the spiritual figure from the Bible, Jesus Christ, was a black man. It isn't hard to see why the false ones did what they did to Mr. Marley, one of the most inspirational voices in history. Yet again, it was a very sick ritual and rite for the year 81. Ritual equates to 81 in ordinal. Ritual equates to 81 in reverse ordinal. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Bob Marley quote. All right. Boris Sagal, October 18th, 1923, May 22nd, 1981. Boris Sagal was filming the movie World War II when, according to reports, he accidentally walked into a helicopter propeller, suffering a partial decapitation that killed him. Consider he was 57 years old at the time, corresponding with the reduction gematria of helicopter, summing to 57, and actor equating to 57 in ordinal. Even more, the death came 216 days after his birthday, the product of 6 times 6 times 6. This is fascinating because helicopter has Sumerian gematria of 666. It is also worth noting that World War III has gematria of 141 and 156 in the base ciphers, the same as the word 33. 33 written as a word. I bring up this point because he died in Oregon, the 33rd state, and the only state with an ordinal value of 74, like Masonic and killing. Wow, decapitated. Whew. Natalie Wood, July 20th, 1938 to November 29th, 1981. Natalie Wood, the actress best remembered as the young star of Miracle on 34th Street, would die a little more than 34 years after the release of the film. As you have learned, The word murder has a reduction gematria of 34. At the same time, the word miracle has reduction gematria of 34 as well. Making matters even more interesting, she died 211 days after the 34-year anniversary of the film, which was May 2nd, 1981. The film was released May 2nd, 1947. As you have learned, the number 211 is the 47th prime, and the word killing has gematria of 211 and 47. Further, the name Natalie Wood sums to 47 in reduction gematria. As for the date of her passing, November 29th, it was the 333rd day of the year. You'll recall that the Freemason compasses in their logo is set at 47 degrees in tribute to the 47th problem of Euclid. Not by chance, when you write out 47th problem of Euclid, it has an ordinal value of 333. At the same time, according to Freemasonry, the compasses represents the motto, circumscribe our desires and keep our passions within due bounds, which equates to 333 in reverse reduction. Let us not forget it was the Zionist nation of Israel that was first recognized by the United States on November 29th, 1947, and it is the same League of Zionists who control Hollywood and execute their stars by the code as rituals. Ugh. Her date of passing was also right for her cause of death, drowning, summing to 40 in reverse reduction, just like November 29th, or 11 plus 29, equating to 40. That same date also had numerology of 121. 11 plus 29 plus 81 equates to 121, connecting to the ordinal value of blood sacrifice. As for the location of her death, it pointed back to Freemasonry. That was Santa Catalina Island, equating to 58 in reduction, the same as Freemasonry and Secret Society. Even more, Natalie Wood was 43 years old at the time of her passing, connecting to the gematria of Masonic and killing. In 2018, Robert Wagner would make headlines for being the person possibly responsible for her death. This happened on February 1st, 2018, the 32nd day of the year, leaving 333 days remaining. It isn't hard to see why the news came on this day. Alrighty. Randy Rhoads, R-H-O-A-D-S. Randy Rhoads, December 6, 1956 to March 19, 1982. Randy Rhoads supposedly died in an accidental plane crash, dying on the date March 19th, similar to the number 319, connecting to Masonic and killing, as well as Lucifer in Satanic Gematria. According to the reports, he was in a small plane that attempted to buzz the tour bus of Ozzy Osbourne and other bandmates as a practical joke while in Florida. Fittingly, the names Florida and Rhoads, R-H-O-A-D-S, have gematria of 38 connecting to death. The date of March 19 can also be expressed as 19/3, a lot like 193, the 44th prime number. In the case of Rhoads' death, it came 103 days after his 25th birthday, where again the number 103 is the 27th prime and 25 connects to death as well. His date of passing also had numerology of 33, connecting to the fact that Ozzy Osbourne had just turned 33 years old December 3rd, 1981, having a December 3rd, 1948 birthday. As we have learned, Rockstar has Gematria of 33 and is also a number related to sacrifice. As for the death coming in the year 82, that connects to Ozzy's birth numerology, as well as the gematria of his well-remembered band Black Sabbath. Wow. So the date, 12/3/1948, you add 12 plus 3 plus 19 plus 48. That equates to 82, and Black Sabbath equates to 82 in the ordinal cipher. And I will end my reading with that, with Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, and the death of Randy Rhoads. And the next death we will talk about in the next reading will begin with Bear Bryant, September 11th, 1913 to January 26th, 1983. So until then, you guys have a good evening, and I will be back soon. Good night.